that way you don't have to.
Software.
Would you mind taking the photo?
Yeah, just where
All right. Figure out how you stand between them.
Okay. Should we stand up there?
Sure.
Until then.
Take a photo.
So then it is a temporary.
Photos are not good.
One,
two,
Perfect. That's perfect. Thank you. I don't know if it goes back. We're going to give it to you. So we can give it to you again. Yes. The show capacity.
So that's organization for you. What you made.
I don't know why I'm sure. The person
Then you have very
Is there any
over the temporary.
Oh, I didn't know.
Oh my goodness, where?
Doesn't that one just get like an appearance? And then they don't show up.
No.
That pretty much how it works.
Well, I mean, we can try. I mean, it's something that you probably don't personally talk
Are you gonna make a commercial?
No, I wasn't gonna make a commercial. I'm a volunteer. I make a good volunteer, that's about it.
No, we figured out the hot spots. I mean, we'll probably still more, we'll probably get less than we need, but we'll make it.
Yeah.
ready?
We always do.
Well, I'd like to welcome everybody to the regular town board meeting this evening. Fire exits are out the door to the right. If that's blacked, out the door and to the left. There's an AED located on the wall across the hall should that be necessary. But everyone please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence for the deceased residents of the town of Hamlin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Pastor Cody, would you lead us in an invocation, please?
Yeah, I invite you to pray with me. Let's pray. God, we come to you today thankful for the many blessings that you pour out upon us in our lives day by day. We pray that you continue to do that here in our town of Hamlin, that you bless us with your peace, that you would provide for us, that you give to those here in this meeting tonight wisdom that they need for decisions to be made, and that you would guide us in all of your ways. Thank you for this, and we pray in the name of Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Clerk, please call a roll.
Baxter.
Here.
Volkov.
Here.
Yeager.
Here.
Robert.
Here.
Peters.
Here. We are now to be joined with pleasure by our Monroe County Legislator Jackie Smith and our Recreation Director Anki Applebaum to present the Monroe County Youth Award to Allison Crane.
Yeah, Anki, do you want to explain? So, I was just going to say, so as many of you know, the Monroe County holds their youth awards every year. Last year was very unique because of COVID. We actually did it via Zoom. This year we're very excited to get everybody back together and holding it in a large forum at the Highland Bowl. Unfortunately, it was 95 degrees that day, so they thought safety for families as well as our recipients to go ahead and cancel it. So I've been trying to get and actually hand deliver all the certificates, and I thought it would be great for Allison to actually receive it in front of her town board tonight. So I want to thank Anki for sending in the recommendation on Allison, and I thought it would be great to hear Anki had submitted.
Okay, so I'm gonna go up here and just read to you all what I wrote. I had to condense Ally into 200 words. That was hard. That was very hard. But I think I got the gist of it. So I've known Ally since I first started working here. She was in a class 10 years ago, in a craft class where I first met her. When she was old enough to go into the youth group at the age of 12, she did. And she was there until she was too old to be in the youth group, and that was at the age of 18. She has demonstrated her commitment to the community and to the county by joining the Hamlin youth group, volunteering all over the place. She volunteered with her 5th grade teacher in the teacher's room for 6 years, helping the kids with math and reading. Last year, when school shut down, she voluntarily attended their live meetings and assisted kids and teachers in the breakout rooms. In high school, in spite of many extracurricular activities, she still made time to volunteer as a soccer coach for us, and referee, again for us. Allie's always pushing herself to be better. She conveys discipline, a positive attitude, and consistency. She completed her freshman year of college while still in her senior year of high school. In spite of all this hard work, her volunteerism is in full force. She has a full work schedule. It's a privilege to know you, Ally.
Nice. Very nice. Here, I'll come up there.
Okay.
So I have the certificate to hand to Allison. So Monroe County is very grateful and will continue to benefit from your leadership and your selflessness and positive example for all your peers. So thank you again for all that you do.
Thank you.
And I'd like to ask you a picture as well. 1, 2, 3. And I'll do one this way too. We'll cut Joel out of the picture.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
Congratulations.
So we did it first.
Thank you. So great. So thank you for letting me present that. So just 2 things I just wanted the town board members to know. We are going to be doing a pharmaceutical take back day again for the district. So that is going to be on Tuesday, October 5th from 3 to 7 in front of the Clarkson Highway Garage. You're just going to be able to pull in like you've done the last couple of years, drop off any pharmaceutical waste that you have. We'll put them in the bins, and then Monroe County will take those away. It's been a very well-received program. I received many calls from residents asking when we're going to have it again. Patty Jo's been nice to go ahead and post it for us, make sure it gets up on Facebook, any social media sites. So I'll make sure I'm sharing it as well. So just want to let you guys know we're doing that again. And the last part is, and I don't know, Eric, if you've received anything from Monroe County yet, but Monroe County is going to be receiving $144 million in ARPA money. It's the American Recovery Plan. And we really want to know from our town board members as well as residents on where that money should be going. So we're going to be holding a series of meetings to find out from the board, the towns, to find out where you think this money should go. As you know, you receive the money as well as being a town, and it's very limited on what you can use it for, such as broadband. It can be used for the infrastructure, water and sewer districts and things like that. So I don't know when the West Side is going to be having their meeting yet. I would love if one or all of you could attend, but if you can't, feel free to reach out to me. Just send me a quick email. Let me know what's kind of on your thoughts and minds, and I'll be your voice for you at those meetings. I think that's it. Do you guys have any questions?
No, you're going to be here.
Oh, and yes, I am. And so I am going to do kind of a coffee meeting with seniors on the 21st, correct? 21st?
Yes,
21st of September,
9 to 10.
From 9 to 10. here at the town hall been gracious to allow me to use this. So I just thought that might be a good time. Patty, Joe, and Colleen thought that was a good day for me to come in, and love to just hear from residents on what's on their mind, if there's anything I can do via the county for them. Thank you for reminding me. I will
Just so
be
you can
fair.
take back to the legislature.
Yes.
I did get a letter from Legislature Carvo
Oh, okay.
regarding those meetings, but
Yeah.
there was no date, no time, no anything, and it was to be determined and announced at a later time. So
Yes.
we're kind of waiting to see when those might be.
Yeah, I don't think anything is set in stone yet. I definitely am making sure that one happens on the far west side. So somewhere within my district, there is going to be a meeting. I think they're shooting right now for like October. But I'll definitely make sure that all the supervisors and the village mayor knows when, and as well as your town board. Okay?
They're all in person.
They're going to be in person, yes. Yeah, but certainly if you can't make it, you can email me and I can make sure that your voice is heard.
Is there a list of, like a comprehensive list of what the monies can be used for? Because I know it is.
There is, it's something like, I don't know if you guys have looked at it, it's like a 50-page document, but I can send you guys kind of the things that probably the town would be most interested in, such as the water district, sewer district, your broadband access and things like that. So I can kind of send you kind of a list of stuff, but it is limited to what you can use it for, just like the CARES Act money. Okay, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jay.
Now the public forum portion of the meeting this is the portion of the meeting where the public gets to address the board. Is there anyone who would like to address the board? Well, seeing as no one wishes to address the board, we will close the public forum portion of the meeting. Requesting town board resolution to approve the regular town board meeting minutes of August 10th, 2021.
Second.
Baxter?
Yes.
Foco? Oh, okay. Hurlbut?
Yes.
Yeager?
Yeah.
Peters?
Yes. Requesting town board resolution to approve payment of bills from their respective funds.
So moved. Second.
Baxter?
Yes.
Foco?
Yes.
Hurlbut?
Yes.
Yeager?
Yes.
Peters?
Yes. Supervisor's monthly report. Forgot to bring it down to you ahead of time.
Yeah.
Now filed. Certain explanation probably for number 11. I forgot to print the maps out, but what it boils down to is we've had several meetings with the state, the Parks Department, with their sewers. I'm going with sewers. And they're working on the easements for the parks that are going to be required, because some along the parkway and so forth. And, in doing the research for that, Paula Smith came up with a couple of spots that they would like to deem as excess lands and just turn them over to us instead of having an easement. Obviously, to do that, we have to do the resolution to accept them. They have to send it off to Albany. It's a legislative solution. So in the meantime, to answer the next question, what do we do in the meantime? They will give us license to build on those lands because they know they're going to turn them over for the construction of the sewer. The two locations, if you can picture it, Nuco Drive, where it ends at the T, where Lake Road comes out, actually is state land on that T. Goes back to the west, and then, I don't know, a few hundred feet, and goes down to about where the tree line is. And it's just that part you can see where it's mowed in the front. That's the only part that's state land. I thought the state went all the way around to the mailboxes. It does not. So they want to turn that over to us because that's where the easement for the sewer would go there, and they don't use it. It was originally procured when they were doing flyover exits is what they got the land for originally, but now they have all at-grade crossings down our way. They never installed the bridges or anything like that, so it's, an excess portion. The other one is at the end of Benedict Beach Road. If you've been down there where the new Tuteli sub is, that's where our right of way ends, at that hammerhead turnaround right there. Beyond that was actually state land to the edge. There was a section of state land to the edge of what is now the Casaselli, or was known as the Casaselli subdivision, where that log cabin is built in the swamps. And there's a section in there that we actually already have an easement for because we have water that goes up there. But again, they don't utilize it. It was part of it's kind of an odd shaped jog in the map, and she wasn't even sure, nobody could come up with any reason why that was even included in state lands at the time. Because there's private property all around it except for that little stretch that goes up there, so they want to turn that over to us so that we don't have to have an easement in the future. It would just be we own it. Neither one of them would require us to take dedication of the roadway specifically. The Nuco Drive we already plow and take care of anyway. The one that is basically a driveway, it would just be town land. And that's where also that was mentioned in the meeting, that we'll work on a lease agreement or a easement for them to have that as a driveway. We would own the land, but they would have it as a driveway. So we wouldn't have to maintain it as a cold road, because there's no way to put a turnaround or anything down there at the end of that. It's swamp, basically wetland. So that's what number 11 is. It's going to be a long process before we even get to that, because it has to be done legislatively, and whatever happens when it goes to Albany, who knows how long that'll take. But and like I said, in the meantime, they would grant us license to construct the sewer system and go forward like just normal. So that said, requesting town board resolution to agree to receive and transfer certain lands deemed excess by the New York State Parks Department to the town of Hamlin, the following locations: approximately 66 feet of right of way at the east end of Nuco Drive. That's all that piece is down there. And the east end of Benedict Beach Road from the end of the existing right of way to the west edge of what is commonly referred to as the Casaselli subdivision.
Second.
Baxter,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Hurlbut,
Yes.
Yeager,
Yes.
Peters.
Yes. Requesting town board resolution for the following budget amendments. Instead of me beating my voice up, I will stipulate to the list in the agenda. The high points would be the payment for the roof for the History Center, which actually looks very nice. It looks really, really nice. And the retirement is just, the estimate from last year was low, so we were making up for it at the end of the year here. And some of it's just transfer that we do at the end of the year anyway.
So moved.
Second.
Baxter,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Hurlbut,
Yes.
Yeager,
Yes.
Peters.
Yes. Requesting town board resolution as follows. The board of the town of Hamlin authorizes the town of Hamlin Town Court to apply for a JCAP grant in the 2021-22 grant cycle up to $30,000.
So moved. Second.
Baxter,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Hurlbut,
Yes.
Yeager,
Yes.
Peters.
Yes. Requesting town board resolution to renew the kennel agreement with the town of Sweden for 2021 through 2022.
So moved. Second.
Baxter,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Hurlbut,
Yes.
Yeager,
Yes.
Peters.
Yes. Requesting town board resolution to schedule a public hearing to hear input on the adoption of a local law to opt out of adult use cannabis retail dispensaries and on-site consumption sites within the town of Hamlin on October 12th, 2021 at 6:15 p.m. at the Hamlin Town Hall.
So moved.
Second.
Baxter,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Hurlbut,
Yes.
Yeager,
Yes.
Peters.
Yes. It's a lovely time of year, so we're requesting town board resolution to schedule town board budget workshops on September 28th, 29th, and 30th with October 5th, 6th, and 7th if necessary at 6:30 at the Hamlin Town Hall. And we can utilize it all or part of those or whatever, but I just wanted to make sure we had those blocked out for time to go over it.
So moved.
Baxter,
Yes.
Volkel,
Yes.
Robert,
Yes.
Jaeger,
Yes.
Peters.
Yes. And you said you didn't have anything that needed specific business resolutions? No. Okay. All right, well, we did the youth award. I have a few things here. Now we got our quarterly sales tax payment. This is nice. It was $271,486.92, which compared to the same quarter last year was $122,362.75. Of course, that was in the middle of COVID, so everything was shut down, so it's nice to seem to be coming back and actually doing it. Working on a press release with the READY program. Received word this week that Sandy Creek dredging is about to get underway. They plan on starting on or about the 20th of September. The duration would be approximately 2 weeks. They're going to be trying to have an informational meeting. I don't know exactly when that's going to be just yet. That's part of the press release, apparently. But that's good news. So that will be completed this year.
All that impact voting traffic.
Well, I think that's what they're going to talk about at the information meeting. I know they've been in contact with the marina, now whether the other yacht clubs or marinas down there. The yacht club they've been in touch with, but other marinas I don't know. They will probably be limited, and I would have to imagine that they will probably close the launch during that time. I don't know. They are not planning, the last I knew, to utilize any shoreline, but they do own that parking lot, so they may use that as a staging area. So the spoils are to go out almost directly due north of the mouth of Sandy Creek and be deposited back into the lake, which, okay. Seems like it's just going to wash back. Yeah, but that's just me. Yeah, I'm not an engineer. I'm sure there's a reason for it.
Did you say the project's gonna start the 20th, or the?
That's what they're planning on actually starting the dredging the 20th, on or about. It may, I may shift one way or another.
September 20th?
Yep, 20 September. Yeah, like in 2 weeks.
days, yeah.
Or a
No,
week.
in a week.
In a week.
When are they gonna have this public meeting?
I don't know. I'm not running this show. I'm just a messenger in this one. I'm talking to Nancy from Ready is actually today, so. Let's see, we went over the property, we had the meeting with that. Followed up on a couple of requests from different board members for things and we got with you. I will get with you after the meeting. Did follow up with Steve Holly's office, the culverts that we talked about at the, I guess, what do you call it, the town hall meeting that Steve Holly had here, Route 19 and Route 272. They finally got an answer from the DOT as to what is going on with those. And I'm very happy to say that both culverts are in the design phase. The contracts are to be let late in 2023 and are scheduled for replacement in the spring of 2024. So that's how on top of that, that makes that'll be almost 15 years for this one up here. And I'm not even sure how long for that one over there. It's ridiculous. Yeah. We did have another meeting for the IMA with Kendall and the county. The update with that is we're still moving forward. They're still trying to get all the approvals. We did the dates and I sent you the email. Seem to be starting to slide a little bit farther down because we don't have all the approvals yet. The bond company's looking for an updated schedule. I don't know if we're going to make the original schedule of October to open bids, or if we do, it'll be late October, just timing between publishing it, allowing people to bid on it, bid opening, awarding the bid, and so forth. It's starting to slide that way. I know they're still working on it, but the pledge of cooperation sometimes seems to be not as well thought of on one side as the other. Let's put it that way. I don't want to be too undiplomatic about it, but Kendall, we're still working on the same thing. They're still messing around with their stuff, trying to get everything in place before we can form the district. So I haven't heard anything more on that, other than we have an agreement in kind with the county so that we can go forward with forming a district. So that's the last I've heard on that. Just a quick question for you that came up from a constituent. Do you have any knowledge of or experience, I know, borrowing the speed sign? Came up on Weiler Road to borrow that speed limit sign that flashes at you and tells you you're going too fast and here's your current speed and all that. I said I would bring it up, whether you want to pursue it or not, because it's not my department. People do tend to use that as a high speed, barely stop at the center. And
we've had two. I spoke to a resident the other day at the base of the hill in Walker, also at Brick Schoolhouse. Concerned, so.
That's a chronic right there.
Yeah.
Because the speed limit drops there.
Yeah.
45s are there.
It drops from 90 to 45 in a real hurry.
Nobody actually does it. Yeah. So I don't know who we can borrow from at this point. I know we did, I think it was Parma's we used a lot. Was it Parma's we did?
Village of Hilton.
Village of Hilton, okay. It was somebody over that way, but I said I would bring it up, so. Let's see. I think that's all I have for the moment. Why don't we do some reports start down here with Councilperson Baxter.
All right, so Conservation Board, I couldn't make. I have a work commitment that actually ran over, so I didn't see Clark here, so hopefully maybe in the next month, or we can look at the minutes online. Hilton Department Fire District, I didn't attend that either, so I'll report on that next month. Hamlin Volunteer Ambulance, August was their busiest month on record. They had 104 calls their month, bringing the calls to date August 31st to 670 for the year, which at that rate they're definitely going to go past this will be the busiest year they've ever had. Still managing to cover the vast majority of the calls, even though there is a severe EMT and paramedic shortage in this area. And, second thing is Adam will be out on short-term disability, so he anticipates being back in October. So right now, I have to contact Captain Underdog in the interim. So anything I need to do, I'll talk to him first. So other than that, it seems like things are going well. I've seen the rig unfortunately a couple times. That's never usually a good thing when you see the rig. So, but at least the one time I did see the rig, it was there in less than 10 minutes. So they're doing. I mean, they respond phenomenal. So they can't knock them.
Yeah, no, they do.
So they just keep going along, and everything seems to be going good. So that's always a good thing. And that's all I got.
Councilperson Vogel.
Okay, zoning workshop, zoning board of appeals, I was not able to attend, so I will defer to the meeting minutes for that. The chamber, I've gotten in contact with them twice for people who are interested in ribbon cutting in Hamlin. So hopefully, I don't know what happened with one of them, was for the new business across from Cronies that simply something.
Affordably mine.
Affordably mine.
Yeah.
First floor, something.
And then maybe for when they do decide to open the old Hamlin station guys. So I thought that would be good. It's always good to do something like that, put it in the Herald to get a little extra exposure for the business as well. I don't know if they're meeting again, the chamber. They were on like a summer hiatus. So I'm not sure if they've begun meeting again or not. And then, so for the History Center, I have a couple just random things. The History Center, I had asked Jackie Smith if she knew of any potential grant monies that might be available for the roof, because it was kind of a, you know, a good chunk of money that we didn't really have allocated for this year. And so she hooked me up with the Monroe County historian who gave some suggestions. I forwarded some stuff on to Dave. And he was looking into the Landmark Society of Western New York. They may have some ideas. He's in correspondence with them. There's nothing formal yet, but they just may have some ideas. There were two suggestions that Jackie had given me. Another one was the National Park Service administers a preservation fund trust, and they have some grant monies available. I did look through there. There were a couple that I thought would be good for us. One of them is called Save America's Treasures, but that we didn't really meet all the qualifications for either of the two that I thought we could potentially. There's none open right now to apply for, and most of them, like, you have to, like, the work can't already be done. Since our work is already done, it eliminated us from one. But I did tell Dave about that one to, you know, keep it bookmarked in his information there for that one. It's a minimum of $125,000, but up to $500,000 grant, but you can only use it one time for any place on the National Historic Registry. So, I mean, something that, you know, maybe down the road, if we needed a bigger chunk of money for a big project down there, for him to keep in mind. He did ask me when I was emailing him, he's interested in maybe having like a kind of like a town board liaison, someone that he can bounce ideas off of and kind of, you know, use as a liaison. So I thought I'd mention it and see what everyone's thoughts were on that. He did say he's been, like, at least once a week or twice a week he gets contacted about genealogy, so he tries to help people with that as best he can, but I mean, you know, that's not really his, like, forte, but and he's also interested in doing a town historical committee. Thought that would give people a little more opportunity to participate for those who were interested in town history. So I don't know how you guys feel about him having a liaison or not.
Well, he's more than welcome to talk to me at any time. And I have sent him emails on multiple occasions and haven't received anything much back a lot of times. So, I don't care if you want to, yeah, it does take a while
to get back to me. But he said he was locked out of his email for quite some time, and then he had his town email, he had to get a new password. I don't know, he had some issues, computer issues. I didn't get back to me for a while, but so sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's all right. I was going to say, if you want to be the liaison for the History Center, that's fine. I mean, the supervisor generally does it, but like I say, I've gone back and forth with him a few times and haven't gotten much results. I mean, I've even spoken to him, it's been a little while, but in person at meetings, and it's as far as it gets, so. More success.
I'd be happy to, but
yeah,
run it past everyone.
It's an assignment. It's not a board resolution thing. Right. Generally, they're assigned at the beginning of the year or so. You know, that can be arranged for with the organizational meeting when they set things up. What to do. What? So.
Someone made a suggestion to me of term limits for support boards, that, you know, people are on support boards for like 30 plus years and thought it might be a good idea to have term limits. I don't know if any other towns do that. I don't know what, like, other towns do, if that's a common practice anywhere else. But just for the sake of having fresh ideas or, you know, give other people an opportunity to participate. Just bringing the message.
Okay.
Jackie's pretty active. She's pretty awesome, actually. She's pretty responsive. She was in contact with the New York State DOT because it was requested to have a possible traffic study at Route 18 in Drake and Route 18 in Redmond, and those were both approved, so I think those are both gonna go forward. I think the Route 18 and Drake came about after that last meeting, so I think that's awesome, so thank you again, Jackie.
Absolutely. And can I just bring one thing up?
Sure.
Just getting back to something Eric said earlier. When you're talking about the culverts, were you talking the one that's up on, it's actually in Clarkson on 19?
Yes.
So Steve Hawley and I just spoke about it on Friday, and they're actually gonna bring the state DOT out because we're just so concerned with this coming, winter coming and our plows being able to go safely with another vehicle. So they're hoping to do something to make it safer this year. I'm not saying they're completely going to do it, but they said they would be willing to come out and look at it. And then your other culvert, where did you mention that was? Is that
That's
out
actually on County.
on County Line?
Yeah.
So that's the other one, they're gonna come out and look at it as well.
Yeah.
So I sent letters to Steve Hawley and our senator and asked them both if they would come out and visit the sites because they are very dangerous. And as you stated, we have been waiting a very long time to get those fixed. And you also stated they don't plan on fixing them until 2024, and we just can't wait that long. So hopefully, I'll make sure, Eric, that I include you on the
Yeah,
emails
that's
going
fine.
forward, so you see, I did include Krista and Bob Viscardi on it, but I'll make sure that Michael is part of it, and you are too on the emails going forward.
Well, and that's, as I said, when we had the town hall meeting, that was what I told them at the time. One of the things that really burnt my hide was they spent an inordinate amount of money milling and paving Route 19 and just milled and paved between the Jersey barriers.
Yes.
And didn't repair the culvert. Are you kidding me here?
Mhm.
You know, this is how we're fixing things now in New York.
Right.
We just narrow the road and pave over it.
Yeah.
That's good. So that's why I was back and forth with Eileen to get
No, I
the
think that's great.
locations. I
I think
drove
the
around
more
and got her
people
the
we
addresses
Yeah,
and so forth, and so.
so I'll make sure I include you on all
Yeah,
the
that'd be great. If
correspondence
you
as
can move it
well.
forward,
but I think-
that would be great.
Yeah. As much as they hear about it being an issue, hopefully they'll move it up and they'll definitely, as they stated, come out and look at it and see what they can do to make it safer for this winter.
Okay, perfect.
LWRP committee, we have our next public input meeting on Wednesday here at the town hall, 5 to 7. I did invite like Steve Hawley, Jackie, and Jeremy Cooney, and I think Monroe County Planning and Development plans to attend, so that'll be good. I also attended that webinar for the CLEAR, which is the Coastal Lakeshore Economy Resiliency. It's kind of in the same vein as READY, but a little bit more global. It actually kind of follows the exact same profile that we're doing for our LWRP update. So they're done with their community profile, their asset inventory and risk assessment, and they're now working on strategies and actions and defining local and regional projects. So there's another public meeting in October, public input meeting. They're all webinars, about an hour long. Is that it? Seniors picnic, I didn't even know what was going on, otherwise I would have liked to have attended that. I know that they had the Lions Club cooking this year, so we didn't necessarily need to cook, but I still like to attend that.
Yeah, I didn't
So I didn't
hear much about it either.
know what was going on until after the fact. Just the email I sent you, but we can catch up.
All right, thank you. Councilperson Yeager.
Okay, for the library, we had 192 participants in our summer reading program. A total of 75,115 minutes. We had 16 programs this year, with around a little over 500 participants, and they created 219 crafts and stuff to bring home. We did the annual backflow prevention of the sprinkler system. There was one valve that failed during the backflow testing, and it's got to be replaced. They said that they last about 5 years. They're gonna do that, and they're sending out a system survey, the entire library system, to see how communities, libraries can better serve the community. The dog shelter, we have no dogs at the dog shelter. And we're trying to get you a copy, Jen, of an ag report. I'll let you review.
I have come up with, I don't know, I just, it hasn't been high on my radar list. I know that the issues are clear.
It was all
clear, but beyond that, it was all administrative issues. There was nothing to do with dog care, so. Getting the good contracts in place. Yeah.
So,
Okay. Councilperson Cole.
Hamlin, Morton, Walker District, it's kind of old news now, but Pete Smith, he's resigned as the district captain. Rick Woods has taken his spot. Glenn Underborn also resigned as a commissioner. This was all the month before. Greg Spear is filling in for Glenn until election. We've had 295 calls year to date. They're working on specs for a new pumper, and there was a lot of discussion on, they're looking at a major remodel for the Walker Fire Hall. A lot of discussion on that and things to be sorted out with that yet. One of the other things that was brought up was with the voting locations, Board of Elections, there's been a concern about the way they leave the facilities and complaints. I've talked to Eric about that, and he's contacted the Board of Elections. So hopefully we can work with them and try and get it, they can leave it as clean as what they found it. And I'm gonna go back next month and discuss it more with the fire district.
Right, I think it'd be beneficial to know precisely where versus just a,
yep.
Oh, it was kind of a mess.
That's right. Planning board, they didn't have really anything on the agenda except for the Next Era Energy for 1764 Walker Lake Ontario Road for the solar farm there. The planners were invited to come in for a discussion workshop type. They went through environmental impact study and discussed a lot of concerns with the town's engineer before they file an application and move forward on that. And that pretty much took up that was that whole meeting. And then Wednesday night here, we had our first meeting on the farm protection plan. Bob King, Ron Bland came in, and Jackie Smith was also here. We had probably 16 people, I think. Cheryl was here. And we basically got Bob King's and Ron Bland's input as to what we can expect. The town has to come up with $1,700. There's a grant available April of 2022. The town's portion of that would be $1,700, and then we gotta come up with $6,700 of in-kind contributions. I reached out to Bob King the next day, and he had emailed me that he's already applied for $2,500 to come from his department. That's got to be approved yet, of course. And Jackie and I hopefully will meet with the county planner at the LWRP meeting Wednesday and touch base with them and hopefully get the application going and get that going. And the town court, Mike and I have been going back and forth, and hopefully next week DBS will run the gas line out to the court so we can get that moving forward. That's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Highway Superintendent, do you have any follow-on on that? Anything new other than it's supposed to be here next week? More specific?
No, that's what they tell me, and they turned from what they had originally told us where we had to open trench from the building over to Apple Hollow. they're gonna directionally drill the whole thing, so there's no destruction to the property going around the parking lot or having to go through the parking lot. Saves us the work of doing it, saves us the expense of the sand that was supposed to go in it. As long as we move forward like that, it should be pretty good. We're wrapping up a lot of our road work between what Steve and I started together and what we continued on. We've done major blacktop repairs on 2 of our lakefront roads. We've done major blacktop repairs in Surface Street on 3 of our bigger country roads. We've done surface street repairs on 3 of our housing track roads and plan to finish up some major repairs on Kendall Mills Road before the season is over. In the month of August, everybody was pretty busy. There was roughly about $120,000 in billable equipment and labor to other governments, and things are kind of winding down with outside work, but we're certainly making phone calls and making sure people know that we're available and ready to help. I did speak to Eric. We closed down the brush drop off at the end of Railroad Ave.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about this. I heard about it, so.
Yeah, it was getting quite out of hand. You know, last year Steve's quote was $40,000 to take care of the brush pile. So we closed it down altogether and figure out where we start from there. The town of Clarkson has provided a place inside their fence for residents to come. But I think first we need contractors to know that we're not a dump off spot. The town of Parma's closed theirs altogether, has been for a couple of years. People come out of Parma. If you go on social media, you can find out that the town of Hamlin is open and willing to take anything. And you can follow vehicles out of Parma, out of Clarkson, over to here. The town of Kendall, apparently their pile has been so abused that they actually have the Orleans County Sheriffs over there patrolling the area.
Or they just dump it in farmers' fields.
Or they dump it in farmers' fields. They actually had a resident call that said they dumped it in his front yard on Redmond Road at about 10 o'clock at night. Really only had one upset person, and that was a local landscaper that thought we should continue to take the debris from their business. Other than that, it's been pretty well received. Everybody seems to understand that it's abuse, and everybody says it was only a matter of time. You know, Steve tried to fight it with cameras. We tried to talk to people. I don't think there's anything we didn't try before this. So we'll have to see where we go from here.
Well, and just so that everybody knows, we did talk about it to try to come up with a way for the actual residents to utilize it in the future, to not have the contractors just coming in, because I saw one this weekend, same thing. Drove down Railroad Avenue, came right back out with a full dump body, didn't dump it because we weren't open. So, but that's why you wanted to shut it down now for a little while, just say, okay, that's it, while we get something in place and go forward. So.
That's all I got.
Okay. Thank you. Building department.
Okay, we issued 40 permits, even though on the computer readout, it says 41, one was 40, the same permit. So, permit cost received over $3,400, which is good. Evaluation of over $687,000 for the town. Closed out 22 certificate of compliances and certificate of occupancies, 273 phone. They want to start doing some work on the property. There was no insurance on the property. She had let the insurance lapse from what they said. So I told them that I have no option, but they do have to come and get a major repair permit for $60, and they have to provide me with plans for exactly what they're going to do. They said they were going to start ripping out the kitchen. I said, well, you're going to need to come and, because you got electrical in there, you've got plumbing, you've got a lot of items that have to be replaced. So hopefully they'll come in tomorrow and we'll work all that out together. Other than that, everything's going smoothly. Thank you.
Brings us to recreation.
Recreation. So after a 2-year hiatus, we will have a volunteer appreciation day again. It is happening this Saturday, coming Saturday, from 3 to 5 p.m. There is a laser tag field is going to be set up in field 2 for all our volunteers and sponsors to enjoy 2 hours of hefty laser tag. We're getting pizza donated from Mark's Pizza. There will be popcorn, there will be drinks, there will be desserts. I hope people come by to thank all our volunteers. We sent out about 50, 60 letters, and these are volunteers now from 2019 really, because last year we didn't do anything. So I do hope they come and just have a good time for a couple of hours with their families. I am going for another grant from the Genesee Valley Art Council on the Arts, again for our artist. We are trying to get him, to get the money for him to paint large Halloween-themed cutouts out of plywood that are going to be placed in various locations in the park for our Halloween events, just as extra decoration, and because they would sort of blend in with the work he has already done. He has images that can be quite frightening, but are still totally natural, like a wolf with his mouth open, things like that, but very close up and very large. And this will be a good thing to put in between the displays, just to create another visual something during the drive-through, or also for any of the events going on in the park. So hopefully we get that grant. I don't know if you heard, you probably have, we had to close camp the last week in August. We did have a COVID outbreak. Fortunately, nobody, no staff, no kids, further kids were infected from that particular situation. It's unfortunate that particular child only came those 2 days all summer, and closed us down for that last week. So that's unfortunate, but it happens. I underwent some maintenance in the lodge. Staff and I, we painted the interior, made it a nice fresh coat of paint. We did all that, and because we have removed the licensing structure now and can open the building to the public, I have purchased a number of large cabinets so we could lock all the materials that we generally always move back and forth. Whenever we have a lodge rental on weekends, we always have to sort of empty the building or the room and move everything into the storage room. So now we have cabinets so we can just lock them up and everything stays where it is. And it doesn't look like a child care center during any time. Due to the lack of trees in the park, we need to look into shade structures. We had a person who donated their time getting us pictures of the playground from above, which is very useful because I'm using them now to send to various organizations, businesses who do these shade structures to give us some quotes. And that in turn will help me possibly get grants for these shade structures because a lot of people complained. Playground, all these places that used to be under these wonderful lush green trees, especially this summer, it was so incredibly hot. We really need to figure something out so people can continue to enjoy it, to use that playground in the summer. The last thing is there's a new collaboration, a program going on with the library between recreation and the library. We're going to start a cookbook club, and we will use the lodge where we will meet. So rather than a regular book club, it's going to be a club where people review a cookbook once a month, and then they will get together and almost like a potluck, cook whatever their favorite things is from that recipe. But it's a nice collaboration with the library, and again, a new way to use the Charlie Meyer Lodge now that it's open for the community, which I'm trying to get more and more programs in there for that. And that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Are we planting new trees for the ones that were removed around the playground?
I believe Parks has been planting a lot, yes.
13 of them, about
13.
10 to 12 feet high each one.
And I asked Jackie about grants. She gave me a bunch of possibilities, which I looked into a while ago and missed our timing, so it's something we have to keep on top of to find out when they do their next one.
Yeah.
And of course, everybody's willing to give away little seedlings, but something like that won't last in a park with kids running all over, so we gotta have established trees, which are more expensive.
So is there anything else from the town clerk's department to
No.
report?
No, sorry. Just,
That's all right.
just doing taxes. It's crazy tax season right now, so.
Well, that's about all I have for this evening. Does anybody else got anything pressing?
Barring no further business, I make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Opposed?
Nobody.
No.
Good fellow.